Guys, life, it's easy. Life is not meant to keep us in a long running pain, long running complications, long running difficulties, long running stressful path that is never gonna get us nowhere. And we feel as us as humans, we're not evolving or becoming better as ourselves, right? You have to come to a realization that, you know, life is just life, you know? And the only way you can dictate your life is the way you can persuade it the life, right? So you have to think about it like this. The way you view life is a reflection on how your own life is gonna come a perception behind you, right? At the end of the day, a lot of people tend to complicate life as if it was just like something like seriously, something that you should be pending, something that you should be over exaggerating for. No, it doesn't work like that, right? So I just want to make sure that you think to yourself, you have the best perspective about life, because at the end of the day, man, we are here just to have fun, right? Just to have fun. Like, what's the point of us being mad? What's the point of us being overstressed? What's the point of us being drained if life itself is just never gonna fulfill us in any sort of way, right? So at the end of the day, just one thing, we're all gonna die, right? We're all gonna die no matter what. Nobody can control that. All of us, we are gonna die one day, right? So let me ask you this. If you were to live your life as however you want it to be, however you want to act on your own free will, and at the end of the day, you don't care what anybody says, you don't care what your outside is, you only do your movements on your inside, your actions based on that concept, how will your life be different, right? How will your life be different? At the end of the day, once you move based on the outside instead of you moving decisions on your inside, and what I mean by outside and inside, meaning that inside, meaning you're making decisions on your own mind, making decisions on your own brain, and your own decisions and your own emotion, right? Instead of you making decisions on the outside, on the outer world, and being sort of affected by unnecessary things, emotions, right? Certain habits, certain addictions, certain distractions, right? A lot of stuff, it could tolerate anything, but at the end of the day, if it's something that's contracting away from your own life, you're not living your own best life, right? So first of all, you have to simplify your decisions and think bigger, right? You have to make decisions based on how you think it could develop you in a certain way where you want it to in your own free will, right? And I always stand by standards, right? That's one thing that I live in, and it's not certain rules, it's not certain laws, but at the end of the day, it's certain things that you have to be aware of, right? And always when it comes to decisions, you have to be really, really aware that if this decision, if this long-term decision that you're bound to make, if it doesn't lead you to any health, any wealth, any love or knowledge, I wouldn't do it at all, right? And these four categories fit into my subscriptions and my own money, right? If I'm wasting money on stuff that's not gonna fulfill any of those things, I'm not gonna do it at all, right? At the end of the day, it's your own life, and you can always be open to anything. But if you don't even know what you want to do in life, if you don't even know the things or just certain ways where you can provide yourself and invest in yourself to become a better person, this is where at the end of the day, you make life much more complicated, and you have to make it easier for yourself, right? So most of people are clouded into emotions. Most of y'all be thinking of emotion. Most of y'all make emotion decisions, which leads to unnecessary, much more problems and unnecessary things. I love saying unnecessary because at the end of the day, man, people always evaluate themselves with much more things that they should have, right? The more you think about it, the more you're gonna keep evaluating. It's like you're thinking about a brainstorm, right? You're brainstorming for an idea, but it's the same thing with problems. Like, you're thinking about your problem, but now you're brainstorming much more problems, and it kind of goes in a way where you're just filling yourself in the void with negativity, right? So I'm here to let y'all know that if you make decisions based on your own emotions, you're not clearly thinking to yourself. You're not really thinking in a certain way where it's not your own heart, but in a way where now you're just thinking based on the situation, based on the circumstance, and based on something that it's not really within you, right? And it's completely normal, man. It's completely normal. At the end of the day, if you don't know how to control your own mind, your own tempo, you don't know how you control your self-will, right? And this is why a lot of people tend to be so distracted. This is why a lot of people can't really be so complacent into doing certain things, because their mindset is not really well evaluated on themselves. They don't really know how to control it. They don't really know how to handle their own mind, right? You have to learn how to pay attention to your own thoughts and to your own decisions. Be aware of the habits that you do every day, because if you're not doing anything properly, then that just means that your life is on properly, right? So also, there's never wrong decisions. It's okay. It's okay. We all learn, right? At the end of the day, if you keep thinking to yourself in the past, oh my gosh, I made the decision, I regret doing this. You're living in the past and you're tagging on every sort of emotion from the past now into yourself, into the present moment. So you have to come to a realization that it's okay. You're still here, you're still blessed, you're still living. At the end of the day, you can change that, right? So it's okay. You have to love your past so you can now love your present and love your future, right? Because you can hate your past. If you hate your past, you're going to hate yourself, because you're always going to tangle into that past mindset. It always happens. It's okay. We are humans, right? We always think from the past. It's normal. I do it too, even though it doesn't affect me, because at the end of the day, I know in the past it doesn't exist no more. It's already moved on, right? But what I'm trying to say is that certain situations and certain emotions that just come along to you right now, it affects a lot of people. So you have to realize that it's okay. Realize that you can change it right now, and you never have to worry about making any sort of dumb decisions ever again, right? So it's all about perspective. Simply enough, it's all about perspective. At the end of the day, I could be going through the same situations as y'all. I could be going through the same circumstances that y'all going through right now, and I could be the most happiest person, most rich person ever, because I don't let sort of things affect me, right? But it's all about perspective, right? At the end of the day, let's say for example, you want to go to the gym, but you feel like you already ate, you already feel lazy down, and you think it's gonna affect you. But at the end of the day, you can still like think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym after my food is down, so I can still do it, right? I can still go to a gym. So it's the same perspective, but it's different mentalities right there, right? So you can have the same perspective as someone, but you can have a different action towards that perspective, right? But what I'm trying to say is that it's all about perspective and action. You have to see it and take action into that perspective, right? Because you can have the most beautiful perspective ever, but if you don't take action, if you don't do anything with that perspective, you're not really switching anything, or you're not changing into the person that you want to be, right? So being humble and grateful is part of life. Being humble and grateful is part of life, because you have to come to a realization that everything that has come across to yourself is because of you, right? It's because of you. Think about it like this, right? This is your own story. Everything that you have gained, anything that the people you talk to, the things that you're attracted, the things that love you, the things that you love back, you have to come to a sense that it all because of you, right? It was all because of you. So simply enough, man, live your life. Once you start living the life that you want, it's the life that you're truly gonna create. And once you start creating, is when you start designing. And once you start designing, is when you purposely just input that reality that you want, right? Nobody else can create your own story unless you let someone take care of your own story, right? And this is what it means. This is why a lot of people think to say, man, my life is lost. My life is not, it's not at its best. I feel like I'm not going nowhere, because you're letting people get over yourself, and now you're letting people to guide you into a life that you don't even want, right? So do whatever you want. I don't care. Have that I don't care mindset, right? Use your own free will. You don't have to do certain things that you don't want to do, because at the end of the day, if you're doing something based off on emotions, you're never thinking to yourself, you're thinking out of emotions, right? always come to realization that your life is never going to be as easy as you think, because you're not thinking for yourself. You're thinking out of life, and you're thinking out of people, and you're thinking out of your outcomes, right? Be aware and think to yourself. Think to yourself like this. Imagine yourself as if you were to be living alone. Like, what would you do? Truly, what would you do, right? You would do a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, you would do a lot of stuff. I can't even recall what would you do, but it's your own story. It's your own decisions. I mean, it's just based on you, man. It's just based on you. But yeah, man, it's been Fertile Saga. Let's leave that dimension expansion with some new game, and it's implemented into a real world. It's good.